Welcome to My The Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to Am I the Asshole Podcast. Woo! It is a beautiful Thursday episode, you people's favorite episode. And yeah, man, we're going to be getting into some more Hooked. We have chapters 38, 39, and 40 today on deck. I know you guys are excited. I've been seeing you lovely people down in the comments telling me that you have gotten all caught up and you're ready for more. So we definitely have some more for you. Again, we are taking book recommendations at this point because we are 80% done with this book. So we are definitely getting very close to being done with this book. So yes, definitely give us some more book recommendations. I do have a few books lined up. So keep sending in your recommendations and, we'll get to them, all right? But without further ado, we're going to get into today's thread. We're going to breeze on through that so we can get to the book. And, so today's thread is, what did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? All right, so let's see what your partner did that made you realize I could never marry this person. All right, yelling at me that they were the catch in the relationship. All I was catching was raising an adult person who hoards, mistreats two cats, refuses to work, and funded smoking habits with payday loans. Wow, that's crazy, bruh. Where did you get this man? You know what I mean? All right, we already know it was a guy. All right, let's be straight. Where did you get this man? He's mistreating two cats. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you mistreat two cats? I could never mistreat animals. That's crazy. And then on top of that, you're taking payday loans for like cigars and smoking. Bruh. That's crazy. That is insane. Oh my God, that's insane, man. All right, what did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? We got into a conflict while he was driving, and he pulled some sketchy driving moves to show me how angry I'd made him. Wait. Bro. So you're going to possibly crash this car to show how mad you are? Bro, that makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. Like, why would you put yourself and her in danger because you're mad? You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how mad I am and I'm driving, I'm never going to put me and the girl that I'm with in danger, just because I'm upset. That is crazy to me. That's crazy, and that's way too much. Yeah, I can see why she left him, because if she would have stayed with him, she probably wouldn't be alive very much longer. That's crazy. Wow. All right, what did your partner do that made you realize, or that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? He talked about his brother's pregnant wife being fat and letting herself go. She was 8 months pregnant and was basically all belly. It was a weird and disgusting thing to say, but also very untrue. Yeah, bro, she's pregnant. Like, of course she's going to be big. She's pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, what? He thought, like, she could be 8 months pregnant and still keep her figure? Like, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what was he expecting? What was he thinking? Was he thinking like, oh yeah, nah, she really let herself go. Damn, that sucks. Pregnancy must really blew her up. Like, no shit. Does he not know how this works? Like that's really ridiculous, if I'm being honest with you. The fact that you don't understand that like simple concept, and then it makes her think like, oh wow, how is he gonna see me when I get pregnant? You know, like he's gonna sit there and be like calling me fat and ugly and all that shit. Like, bro, you know what I mean? And that to me is kind of insane, because we do get a lot of scenarios in where like dudes be cheating on their girl like once they get her pregnant, and I think that shit is crazy to me. I'm like, bro, how you gonna get a girl pregnant and then you out here fucking on other chicks? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? I don't know. Couldn't be me though. There's no way I could get a girl pregnant and then be fucking on some other girls. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, what did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? Duct taped my dog to the couch because apparently he had interrupted one of her work calls. She duct taped the dog to the couch? Oh, hell no. I would have her shit packed immediately. You know how hard it's going to be to get duct tape off his fur? Oh my God, no. No, see, I'm not for the animal abuse. You know what I mean? I could never, and I mean ever, date a girl who doesn't like animals. I'm sorry. No, I couldn't do it. I could not do it, because when I have an animal, that is my child. That is my son or daughter right there, man. And imagine if that was a kid. Imagine you come home and your child is duct tape to the couch. Imagine that. Bro, nah, man, nah. See, and that's a big thing where I look at it like, how you treat animals is how you're going to treat children. And it's like, nah, because I don't care what anybody says. Having an animal is like having a child. You know what I mean? You feed that motherfucker. You take care of that motherfucker. You clean up after that motherfucker. They make messes. You know what I mean? They're knocking shit over. You always got to watch after them. You know, like, come on, man. They're kids. They're kids at the end of the day. Animals are kids at the end of the day. Like, bro. You know what I mean? So, hey, nah, man. Nah. That's insane. All right, what did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? Finding him fucking my roommate in my bed 2 weeks before the wedding pretty much made up my mind.
Bruh.
That's insane. My man was just like, I need to get me some other walls before I get married. That's crazy. And her friend, right? Oh, well, it was her roommate. So maybe they weren't friends. I don't know. But the fact that like she was down, crazy. I don't know how he talked her into that, but because it's not like the roommate didn't know they were gonna get married. You know what I mean? It's not like she didn't know. She knew, but she decided to do it anyway. Like that. Hey. Man, that's crazy. That is crazy. All right. What did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? He cried because the maid was on vacation and he had to wash his own sneakers. That killed me inside. Yeah. Your man is kind of a baby back bitch. And that will make your girl not see you as a man anymore. She will lose respect for you. I've always said it on this show, man. You can't sit there and be crying in front of your girl. You can't sit there and be vulnerable in front of your girl. Nah, bro. Nah, cause she gonna look at you like, what the fuck? Like you're supposed to be like my protector. You're supposed to be my provider, and you over here crying over some shoes. You over here crying because your shoes aren't clean? Oh, that's crazy. You can't do that shit yourself? You can't be a man and do it? Nah, hey, that's what I'm saying, man. You gotta be firing on all cylinders as a man. You know, you gotta make sure you got your shit together. You gotta make sure your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. And if you are gonna be, you know, crying about something, you cry to the homies. Cry to the homies. Yeah, they gonna call you a bitch and all this shit, but hey, at least they ain't gonna break up with you. You know what I mean? At least your girl still respects you. At least your girl still love you. You know what I mean? Like, bro, all these dudes be crying to their girls and shit. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? Nah, man. Nah. Because she's going to sit there and act like, oh, no, it's okay and this and that. But in the back of her mind, she like, oh, man, he better straighten up. You know, he better straighten up real quick. This better only last for today. Tomorrow, he better be straight and ready to get back to work or something. You know, like, it's a sad reality, but it's the truth. It is the truth, man. All right. Oh, shit. Oh, what the fuck happened? Oh, wait. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm like, what the hell happened? Okay, what did your partner do that made you instantly regret, hold on, I'm sorry. What did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? He played a game on his phone while I poured my heart out about how I had been struggling with my mental health and taking care of myself. I didn't really have the wake-up call until I stayed at his place for 2 weeks with my cat while I was very sick with a mystery illness that lasted about 4 months. He didn't clean the entire time that I was there, leaving dishes to pile up and surfaces to be sticky and grimy. One night I got so fed up that I spent 2 to 5 a.m. deep cleaning the kitchen, only taking breaks to throw up from the illness. When he saw that I cleaned in the morning, his response was, I don't know why you picked the kitchen to clean. My room is messier and I would have slept right through it. Wow. And see, look, man, I've gotten a lot more of these situations recently where, you know, somebody in the relationship has like I would say chronic illness, and you know, as me that has gone through something like that, where I've been with somebody for multiple years with a chronic illness, it is not for the faint of heart, man. You know, some people need to realize that, like, if you're the type of person who has a chronic illness and you just see that your partner is just not supportive through it, they are just not the type of person that can really handle being with somebody who needs that much attention and that much assistance, you know, because again, I like I said, my ex, she had POTS, and POTS was no joke. It was a 24-hour illness, man. POTS didn't sleep. You know what I mean? It was a thing where, you know, I always had to, you know, take her to the hospital. We always had to be there. I had to pick her up early from work. I had to leave work sometimes just because she needed to be rushed to the emergency room in the middle of the night. You know, it's one of those things where if you're going to be with somebody who has a chronic illness, you need to be prepared for everything that comes with it. And the fact that she cleaned for you, even though she's feeling as sick as she is, that goes to show you that she loves the fuck out of you. You know, like, bro, hey, like I said, some people, they're just not equipped. You know, they're just not equipped for it. And you need to be able to be equipped for that. And I think he just wasn't. And it's good that you got out of that relationship, because that dude was a piece of shit. Woo, man. Oh, my God. All right, on to our next one. What did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? Started collecting illegal weapons like brass knuckles, switchblades, etc., and discussions on what he would do to hurt others with said weapons. He got an assault charge 2 weeks after we broke up. Woo! Good thing you got out of that relationship, because that assault charge would have probably been on you. Oh, Lordy. Oh, my Lordy. Yeah, that's insane. Look, I'm all for the Second Amendment. All right. You know, I own a gun myself, but I own it in self-defense and improper use of that said weapon. You know what I mean? I don't go around brandishing my shit. I don't go around telling people I got it. Obviously I am, talking about it now just for the context of the scenario, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, man, if you out here dating a dude that's got it in his waist all the time and he over here, constantly trying to like use it against people and stuff, those are the type of motherfuckers you need to run, because those dudes are about to drag you into some shit. You know what I mean? They are going to drag you into some shit, because those dudes, nah, man. Nah, I can't stand those kind of guys. Those guys piss me the fuck off. Dudes that like to just brandish their firearms all the time, and, they got it in their waist all the time, acting like, they're tough guys and this and that. And it's like, look, bro, you're fucking nothing without that. You know what I mean? You only acting like that because you got it on you. You know what I mean? And it's crazy to me that I see these dudes and they'll be in relationships and stuff like that, and their girl is scared to hell. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things where it's like, if he does something with that, you know what I mean, or commit first degree, whatever, like, bro, she's dragged into that shit. So, hey, nah, man. Nah. All right, on to our next one. What did your partner do that made you instantly realize I would never marry them? I had a bad reaction to antibiotics and ended up in the hospital. Drove myself there and home. Damn. They spent the next 3 days on a coke binge with friends, each day saying they'd be home that night just to come up with an excuse like their ride left already or something equally ridiculous. Their reasoning, there was nothing they could do anyways, so did I expect them to just sit there and stare at me? No apologies, nothing. Damn, bro. Damn. You got... See, I'll never understand these people, man. They sit there, oh, there's nothing I could have done anyway. No, bro. Just you being there and you just standing there, you being at the hospital, like, that will mean the world to her more than anything. You just doing that. And trust me, I know. I was in those shoes. I was in the hospital 2, 3, 4 in the morning. You know what I mean? Where I had to literally look at, the woman I loved in a bed, and she's sick to all hell, and we don't know what's going on with her. We're trying to figure things out, and you know what I mean? But me just standing there, half asleep, meant the world to her. I wasn't doing anything, but the fact that I was there meant everything. Like, come on, man. Like, oh, bruh. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. And then on top of that, you kind of knew what you were getting into, you know what I mean? Dating these kind of dudes, dating these party guys, these cokeheads, yeah. I don't know why you girls love these drunks and these druggies and all that. Hey, man, do your thing. Do your thing. All right, on to our next one. We'll do 3 more and we'll end the thread. What did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? You're not going to get fat like your mom, are you? Said by my high school boyfriend of 2 years after we went to college. Took me a week to dump him after that comment. Damn. That's fucked up. But I'm kind of with him. I won't lie to you. You know what I mean? Because it is one of those things where it's like, for me personally, I never want to see, I don't want to be the type of guy that I get into a relationship, I get married, we have kids, whatever, and I let myself go. I'm not doing that. Nope. I'm always going to eat healthy, take care of myself. You know what I mean? I'm going to fit workouts in when I can. I'm going to make sure to stay active, even if we have a kid, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? And I look at it like you should too. If you're the type of woman that's just gonna, oh, I got the guy, cool, I don't have to like work out anymore, I don't have to try anymore. To me, that just tells me it's like, all right, you don't want to stay attractive for me. You don't want to continue to put in the effort even after the fact. So if I'm being honest with you, I kind of agree with homeboy. Like, I'm just gonna be straight. I'm gonna just be straight. Like, I kind of agree with him. And I think any guy would agree with that as well. They don't want to see their girl go from being slim and beautiful when I got with you, and then 3 years down the line, now you all fat. Like, come on, man, because you let yourself go and you're happy. You stop working out because you looked at it like, oh, why? You stop taking care of yourself. It's like, I mean, he probably, I guess, a lot of women are like, oh, but it's how he said it. Sure, maybe he could have said it better. Maybe, maybe, okay, sure. But still, it's like, come on, man. So, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. You let me know. All right. 2 more and we'll end the thread. What did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? He went a month without doing the dishes. I was bedbound and hypermesis veradium. I butchered the shit out of that. And couldn't get far enough to go to the bathroom without fainting. So I got a bit of a shock when I recovered. Oh. Look, man, I'm all for having your girl, be the predominant one that does the house chores and shit like that, and you work and take care of most of the bills. I'm a proponent of that 100%. But you got to also realize that when your girl physically can't, tend to the house, you got to step in, man. Like me personally, in my house, I don't keep a goddamn dish dirty. I cook and I'll clean my dishes right then and there. I can't stand having dirty dishes and a dirty kitchen and all that kind. Nah, bro, I can't stand that. I'm not necessarily a neat freak or anything, but I do like having my area clean, just because when it is clean, you're kind of like, you just feel a little better and everything's nice. I don't know how you could go a whole month and just looking at dirty dishes, looking at dirty counters, and looking at dirty shit. Like, bro, there's no way. It would bug me way too much. It would bug me way too fucking much, and I would do it. Especially if I had precognitive knowledge that my wife is in bed, she can't even get to the bathroom without passing out. Like, come on, man. Like, hey, that's insane. That's insane. Some people just, golly, man. I don't know. What do you guys think it is? What do you guys think that it makes, these people so like lazy in a relationship to the point where they feel like they don't got to do nothing? You know what I mean? They feel like, oh yeah, nah, it's cool. It is what it is. Once she gets better, then she'll get to it. Once, you know what I mean? Like, cause I don't know. I'm a loss for words. I ain't gonna lie to you. I am a loss for words, but hey. Okay. What did your partner do? This will be our last one. So what did your partner do that made you instantly realize you could never marry them? He told me what he saw as our future. We would move to Hawaii. We would grow weed in our basement, and I would work. While our relationship was already not great before then, I realized that this future he described made me nauseous. So what? Homeboy wanted to be a Hawaiian weed dealer? Like, what? I mean, I guess that's a weird future to have. Like, oh yeah, no, don't worry, girl. Like, we're gonna go out to Hawaii. You'll still work though, and then I'll be doing the weed stuff, and we'll be chilling. Everything will be great and fantastic. We'll have so much money. Like, nah, man. Nah, bro. Yeah, because you gotta understand, like, that's not a future that she's excited about. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a future she's excited about. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, I just want to live a casual future where, we have a nice house. You know what I mean? We work, make good money. We have kids. We go on vacation, once, maybe twice a year. We're doing our, you know what I mean? Like, she looks at it like, what the fuck is all this bullshit? Now, look, I understand his entrepreneur mindset and everything. I get that. But a lot of times you can't really do entrepreneur ventures and stuff in a relationship, is what I've come to realize. because even in starting this podcast and even in starting, other things, for me, I've realized I have to do this without being in a relationship. You know what I mean? And have it more established. Then you can kind of bring a girl into it, and then they're able to kind of see the future of it, and they're kind of able to see and understand, okay, this is where it's going because it's already established. Because what I've always, a thing I've always, like, I guess, gone by is that, women don't really care what you got to say. It's what you got to show them. And so if you're able to show them something that, is already moving and grooving and doing that, then they're like, oh, okay, all right, this is just what he does. But if you're just talking about it, a lot of times, a lot of women are going to just be like, that's a crap, that's a crap dream. Like, who cares? No, I don't want, you know what I mean? I'm not about it. That's not a future I see. You know what I mean? So, hey, again, that's my 2 pennies. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comments, as well as all the thread that we've gone over today. Let me know if you've ever been in a situation or had a friend or anything like that in a situation where you realize, damn, there is no way I can marry this person. Let me know down in the comments. Get a part of the thread. We're going to hop to announcements and get right into our book. All right. So, Patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday episodes. Audio listeners, thank you guys so much for all the support while I was out in Cabo. Oh my goodness. You guys were still showing love. I made sure that you guys still had your hooked. Don't worry. You guys definitely showed a lot of love on the episodes while I was gone. And yeah, man, we're back. We're back in the hot seat doing our thing. So, you know what I mean? We got our, I did not want you guys to miss any content, nothing like that. So I made sure to pre-record a bunch of fucking episodes just for you guys and, get everything ready. You know what I mean? Train don't stop, baby. So thank you for all the support. Keep downloading the episodes as well as rating us 5 stars. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as subscribing on YouTube. YouTube for all the videos as well as the live streams. If you ever miss a live stream, I do have the VOD on there. Definitely get a part of join our Discord. I have that link down in the description for you guys. Join our Discord. Discord is just there to let you know when I start live streams, when I upload episodes, when I upload clips, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty much just a notification center. It's just if you guys use Discord. So get on down there, check that out, get a part of that. But yeah, that's going to be it. Without further ado, let's get on into Hooked. And I believe we're doing chapters 37, 38, and 30. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It should be 38, 39, and 40. All right. So let's get on into it.
"38. James. I've never done a drug in my life, but I imagine it feels similar to the way it does when Wendy courses through my veins. All-consuming. I grip onto her fiercely as her tongue tangles with mine, wanting to bathe in her taste to drown the memories that are overtaking my mind. I was this close to losing it. Fear and fury pumped through my blood until all I could see was red, but I held it together, waiting to hear the name Tina Bell drop from Tommy's lips. And then Starkey, the blithering idiot that he is, put a bullet in Tommy's head, saying that his finger slipped on the trigger. He must be foolish to think I believe such a pitiful excuse, but I'll deal with him after I deal with my demons. Croc. The name alone sends disgust racing through me, shame spiralling close behind. It's impossible. Peter doesn't know of him. No one knows of him, unless it was tortured out of Rue. The thought of my closest friend spilling my darkest secrets to my mortal enemy creates an inferno of rage, one that I bleed into Wendy's mouth, and she laps up like water, as if she likes the way it tastes. My insides seethe and spit, my mind warring between breaking everything in its path or cutting myself open until the imprint of my uncle's memory is drained from my soul. My mouth breaks away from Wendy's when a sharp pain sears across my chest. Nightmares from my childhood flashing into the forefront of my brain. Wendy grabs my hand and places it over her heart, teeth nipping at my bottom lip. "Give it to me," she whispers. I shake my head, my body trembling. "I don't have anything to give." Her mouth grazes along my jaw, pressing soft kisses to my skin. "So give me all your nothing," she replies. Her words tap into the deepest part of me, mixing with my fury until I break. My hands grip her tightly, and I flip us around, bending her backward over top of the desk, raising her arms above her head, and locking her wrists in my hand. "Do not pretend you care for me," I spit. "Not now. I won't be able to stand it." My voice catches on the burn scorching up my throat. Wendy's eyes widen as she stares at me, her lips swollen and kissed pink. "And what if I'm not pretending?" she whispers. My stomach flips, chest squeezing at her words. "I've given you no reason to care." I press my torso into her, my hips settling between her thighs, the papers on the desktop crinkling underneath our weight. "I am not a good man." "I know," she breathes. "I have tortured." I dip my lips down, brushing them against her neck. "I have killed." Lifting her shirt with my free hand, my fingers skim up her side, my mouth tasting her collarbone, then trailing over the swells of her breasts. "And I'll do both again without ever regretting a thing. I enjoy them." Her legs tighten around my hips. My hand releases her wrists, moving to cup her face, her skin soft beneath the pads of my fingers. My chest twists as my heart bangs against my ribs. "But I regret with every fibre of my being that for even one moment you suffered under my hands." Her eyes widen, the beautiful shades of brown glossing over. "You are, without a doubt, the only good I've ever known." I rest my forehead on hers, my shaky breaths ghosting across her lips, my thumb rubbing against her cheek. "So, don't lie to me, Wendy, darling, because my heart won't survive it if you do." She surges up, her mouth colliding with mine, passion exploding on my taste buds. I moan as she wraps her limbs around me, my cock hardening as it rubs against her. All of my turmoil is funneled into her instead of on the world, and I lose myself to the moment. I reach for the neck of her shirt, jerking until it rips in two, exposing her nipples that are pink and hard and gorgeous. I suck one into my mouth, twirling the bud under my tongue as my hands strip the boxers down her legs. She gasps, her back arching into me. My heart swells with the need to make her see, to show her how I feel, because I've never been good with words, not the ones that matter anyway. I want her to choose me, not because I demand it, but because she can. My fingers dip between the folds of her cunt, slipping through the wetness. I work my way down her torso with my mouth, kissing and nipping, apologizing with my tongue and my teeth for all the ways I've hurt her, for all the pain I know I've caused. My face lands between her thighs, and I inhale deeply, the aroma of her arousal making desire coat my skin. "Always so wet for me, pet?" I slip 2 fingers inside, watching as her tight walls suction around them. "You're such a good girl. Do you know that?" Her legs tremble as they spread wider, opening herself for me to feast. She gets off on the praise, twisting her fingers in the strands of my hair. She tugs me forward. I go willingly, swirling her clit into my mouth, her taste exploding on my tongue. I groan, pressing my face into her, deeper, wanting to drown in her essence until I feel her in my soul. I glide my fingers in, curling upward before easing them back out, then dipping them down lower to coat a different opening with her arousal. Her legs tighten around my head, and saliva collects in the front of my mouth. I rise up slightly, my hands pushing her thighs firmly apart until she's split wide open and on display. I dribble the saliva, watching as it drips from my mouth onto the top of her pretty pink cunt, then slides all the way down, past her pussy, and farther down still until it finally drips onto the desk beneath us. She shudders, and I smirk, my cock pulsing from the lewd vision. My finger presses into her slit, running down her labia until I reach the tight ring of muscle that's now slippery and wet. "Such a filthy girl, aren't you?" I rasp, my stomach winding tight with desire. I suck her clit back into my mouth, swirling my tongue in a figure 8, my finger teasing around the rim of her asshole. "Oh my God," she keens. I open my mouth wider, my saliva mixing with her juices, drenching her until it's pooling on the desk. "I don't think—" "Shh," I soothe. "Don't think, pet. Just take it." I push the tip of my finger inside, making sure there's enough lubricant to make it feel pleasurable instead of painful. "Fuck," she cries. My mouth dives back in, tongue alternating from dipping inside her pussy to twirling around her clit. Unintelligible moans leave her mouth, her body jerking, and my free hand rises up, pressing down on the flat of her stomach. When the staggered rise and fall of her breathing ceases, I know she's close. She's holding her breath. My finger dips in and out of her tight hole in tandem with my tongue in her cunt, my thumb pressing firm circles against her clit. Her entire body starts to shake and my eyes glance up, my cock jerking when I see the splotchy flush of her skin. She opens her mouth on a silent scream, her body arching off the desk, and the inner muscles of her arse grip my finger like a vice. I work her through her orgasm, drinking down her juices and groaning from her taste. The shaking turns to trembles, and I slowly lick my way up her body until my lips press against her ear. I slip out of her arse until just the tip of my finger is pressing against it. "One day," I whisper, "I'm going to take you here. Feel your muscles milk the cum from my cock while you pleasure that sweet little cunt." She sucks in a breath, her eyes wild and her cheeks ruddy. "Would you like that?" I whisper, rubbing my nose along her cheek. Her hands reach out and grip my face, pulling me toward her, and then she licks her juices from my mouth, her eyes heavy-lidded as she moans at the taste. My insides clamp tight, my length jerking. She moves her touch from my jaw as her tongue slips between my lips, her palm sliding down to grapple with my belt buckle. I help speed up the process, stripping off my pants until my cock springs free, thick and engorged, dripping with the need to be inside her. Her fingers move to my shirt, and I freeze. My hands shooting to cover hers, not wanting her to see the imperfections of the past marring my skin. "It's okay," she says. She sits up until her face is level with mine, the flat of her palm resting on my chest, directly over my heart. "I'm not pretending." I breathe in deeply, my emotions running haywire, fear flooding my veins as she slowly undoes my shirt, one button at a time, until she slides her hands underneath the sleeves, the fabric slipping off my skin. I stand stoic, my jaw set, bracing myself for what I know she's about to see. She scoots closer, her legs wrapping around my hips, nestling my cock against her centre. "James," she whispers. The name rolling off her tongue undoes me, something warm and needy exploding through my chest. I raise my arms, allowing her to lift my undershirt and toss it to the side. and then I wait. Her fingers trail over my torso, and I chance a glance down, terrified to see the look of pity on her face. But I don't. Her gaze is wide and open as she touches every scar, many of them from the nights my uncle decided to nick my skin, knowing the sight of my blood caused terror to paralyze me in place. My heart pumps erratically in my chest. Her hand ghosts along my hip, the jagged line searing up my side, burning from her touch. "What happened here?" she asks. I grit my teeth. "Plane crash." Her eyes glance to mine, and then she leans in and presses her lips to the mark. My lungs squeeze, my throat swelling from the gesture. I want to tell her that she's kissing the scar her father helped create, and that somehow, with just her touch, she's eased the pain. But I don't know how. So I pull her face up to my mouth instead, and I show her with my body. I suck her breath into my mouth, slamming her back on the desk, my shaft slipping between the folds of her pussy and creating a friction that has my stomach tensing, pleasure pricking along my spine. "Say it again," I speak against her lips. "Say what?" "My name." I grind into her, heat spreading through every cell. Her eyes roll back as the tip of my length presses against her clit. "James," she breathes. My cock slides inside in one thrust all the way to the hilt. We gasp simultaneously, the feel of being surrounded by her overwhelming every sense. I'm afraid if I move I'll explode, and I want this to last forever. Slowly I ease out before pushing back in, the power of my hips matching the surge of my emotion, making me delirious with the need to get as deep as I can. I lean down, my tongue licking along the shell of her ear. "You're so perfect. Feels so fucking good." She groans, her fingernails digging into my shoulder as her hips rise to meet mine. There is no exchanging of power here, no demand for obedience or a need to keep everything under my control. There's just Wendy, only ever Wendy, doing what she does best, consuming every part of me. My torn-up heart rattles against its blackened cage, beating just for her, hoping she'll learn to love it through the dirt. "Again," I demand. "James," she moans. I bite my lip, my insides raging with heat as my hips piston into her, balls slapping against her ass with every inward stroke. "I want you to tell me that you're mine." She cries out as I change the rhythm, my cock seated fully inside of her, my hips grinding against her clit. I cut her off with a kiss, needing her to understand what I'm asking. "I want you to tell me, but not because I say to, not because I ask." I drop my head in the juncture of her neck, my breathing shallow and hot, my orgasm building deep in my gut as I pull out, then slide back in, rotating my hips against her. "I want you to say it because you are mine, because you're going to stay, even though we both know you should leave." Her breathing stutters, her hand framing my face as she stares deep into my eyes. "I'm yours, James." Heat bursts inside my chest, and I pick up my pace, her words pouring into my soul and filling up the cracks in my heart. The sound of our skin slapping mixes with her moans until she tenses and then explodes. Her pussy walls clench around me, urging my balls to tighten, my muscles seizing until they ache. Cum pulses through my shaft, my cock jerking wildly inside of her as I coat her womb with my seed. I collapse on top of her, breathing heavily, my mind finally at peace. It's in this moment that I know, as crazy as it seems, that I love her. And that terrifies me more than anything else ever has.
39. Wendy. I'm in front of the mirror, adjusting the ill-fitting clothes Moira brought, since what I was wearing is now shredded on the floor, something I've noticed James loves to do. My eyes flicker to him through the mirror as he stands behind his desk. He's finally washed the blood off his arms and is now buttoning up his shirt, covering the scars that mar every inch of his torso. My heart twists, wondering how they got there, and feeling a heavy sense of purpose, knowing that he let me see. He opens a drawer and pulls out a gun, slipping it behind his back in the waistband of his pants before grabbing his suit jacket and sliding it up his arms, buttoning it in the front. My abs tense at the sight. "You're really too attractive for your own good," I say. His head snaps up, a grin sneaking on his face as he saunters over, stepping behind me and pressing kisses to my neck. "James?" My heartbeat pounds in my ears. I'm not sure where we stand, part of me feeling as if I'm balancing in the middle of a teeter-totter, unsure which way it's going to shift. He hums against me. "Can I spin around, my hands resting on his chest. "I want to see my brother." He nods. "All right." Relief pours through me. "And," I bite my lip, "I'd like my phone back." "Done." His brow lifts. "Anything else?" "And I want you to tell me you weren't with Moira." I rush out, heat singeing my cheeks. He pauses. "Ever?" I cringe. Well, obviously not now. I know you'd be lying. His fingers tilt my chin up until I'm staring into his eyes. "I haven't been with Moira or any other woman since the moment I touched you." I blow out a deep breath, my stomach slowly unraveling from where it's tied itself into knots. "Okay." His lips twitch. "All right." "Okay," I say again. "And just so we're clear," he presses his thumb into my chin, "if someone else touches you, I'll cut off their hands so they can never touch anything again." My chest spasms. "You're so violent." He grins. "It's just who I am, darling." Are we... I'm not still being held. "Wendy, you're free to do as you wish. Your father, he..." "No, I know." I cut him off, not wanting to talk about my dad. The wound's still too fresh. "You don't?" He touches his side, where the jagged scar mars his skin. "This plane crash..." His nostrils flare. "It was on one of your father's flights." I gasp. "What?" He shakes his head. "This isn't the place to talk about this, darling." Irritation flares in my gut, not wanting to be brushed off, the way I always have been when I've wanted to know what was going on. I open my mouth, but his finger covers my lips. "I'll tell you whatever you wish, just not here." A heavy feeling sinks through my insides. "Are you going to kill him?" I whisper. He sighs. "You need to understand. Your father, he's taken almost everything from me." His thumb brushes across my lip. "And while I would do anything you asked, please don't ask me for this." My heart pinches, desolation running through my veins. "But Tears well behind my eyes. "He's my father." "Yes, well." His head cocks to the side. "He's the one who killed mine." I'm back on James's boat, sitting on the sun deck in the exact same spot he brought me for our first date. It's been 2 days since he fucked me on the desk at his strip club and then shredded my mind to pieces when he opened up about his past. About my father. Bile burns on the back of my tongue when I think of James, a child, going through what he did at the hands of his uncle. Living through the pain of losing his parents and watching the person responsible for that loss smile on magazine covers for years without any repercussions. My soul is sick from the thought of the torment that has scarred up his heart. Still, I can't reconcile him killing my father, and me just accepting it. But how can I ask him not to after what I know he's done? And I don't understand why. Why would he kill his business partner? Why would he kill Rue? It just doesn't make sense. That being said, knowing the root of the issue does lessen the sting of James having done what he did to me. It doesn't make me forget, but I do understand his anger at least a little bit. And maybe that makes me stupid. Maybe I'm still naive. But James is the only one who has ever trusted me enough to tell me the truth. To let me in on what the hell is going on so I can gain some understanding. He's taken a risk by telling me. And so I can take the risk by trusting when he says he cares. I've had my phone back for over 48 hours. I've gone through the messages and calls from Angie and from the Vanilla Bean, firing me for being a no-show. But there wasn't a single missed call from my father. Not a single one. Nothing from John either, although I texted him and asked how everything was. The sliding door opens, Smee walking onto the deck with a tray of sliced veggies and a smile on his face. He sets them down and sits. "Bossman said to make sure you eat while he's gone." I could have gotten something for myself. I grin at him. Smee waves me off. "It's no big deal. This is my job, remember?" He pushes the tray toward me on the table and I reach out, grabbing a green pepper and popping it in my mouth as he cracks open a beer, taking a long pull. "Where are you from, Smee? How'd you end up working for James?" He picks up a carrot and takes a bite, relaxing against his chair. "Oh, it's really not all that interesting. I came up on some tough times years ago, and he helped me out." My heart swells. He did? He nods. "Got me off the streets, put me up in this place, and told me I could stay as long as I learned everything there was to know about yacht maintenance." "And did you grow up here in Bloomsburg?" I'm not sure why I'm asking him so many questions. Maybe it's because if I'm planning to stay on the boat, I'll feel more comfortable if I get to know its inhabitants. Or maybe it's because I'm desperate for a distraction from the upheaval James's recent revelations have caused. He takes another sip of his beer. "I sure did. Been here my whole life." "That's nice," I hum. "Any family?" Something dark coasts across his eyes. "I'm sorry." I cringe, my stomach souring at the look on his face. "I'm being nosy." He chuckles, adjusting the red beanie on his head. "No, it's fine. My mom's probably still around somewhere, looking for her next fix." Guilt for prying trickles through me. "Oh, I'm so sorry." He waves me off. "I came to terms with who she was a long time ago. My father was a good dude, though. Although I didn't know who he was until a few years before he passed." "My mom passed, too," I say, my heart aching. The pain of lost time never really gets easier, does it? His lips turn down, his fingers tightening on the neck of his beer. "It sure doesn't, Miss Wendy." Footsteps draw my attention away. James stepping onto the deck, looking impeccable as always in his three-piece suit. Smee stands up, dusting off the front of his shorts. "I should get back to it. Thank you for the company." I grin. "Thanks for the snacks." They pass by each other, James barely giving him a second glance. "Don't you get hot in that?" I ask. He ignores my question, swooping down and meeting my lips for a kiss. His tongue slides into my mouth, and my eyes flutter closed, losing myself in his taste. He breaks away, resting his forehead on mine, his thumb caressing my cheek. "Unfortunately, I have business that needs my attention. Will you be all right here?" Yeah, I'll be fine. I was thinking about stopping by the Vanilla Bean anyway. His mouth twists. James, you told me I was free to go, and now you're— Darling, please. He sighs, pressing another peck on my lips. You are. Forgive me for wanting to keep you to myself. I'll leave the keys to the Aston if you want to use it. The knot in my chest loosens. Thank you. Do me a favor. Don't take off that necklace. My brows furrow. Still? Humor me. He grins. I like knowing jewels are decorating your skin. His fingers brush along the diamonds. Make it back home by dinner. I have a surprise. Okay. I smile, butterflies fluttering in my stomach. Home. He says it effortlessly, as if this place is mine and it's where I belong. But I'm still teetering on the edge, unsure if this is all too good to be true, if maybe he's still using me for some master plan. I push the thoughts aside and head inside, choosing to ignore the whispers of doubt.
40. James. I sigh, flipping the station from the news. They've been speaking of nothing besides the Neverland fires, and while it does bleed a bit of satisfaction through me each time I see the rubble and destruction, I can't help but be frustrated that nothing has come of it. In fact, for a man who's as popular as Peter, he seems to have disappeared off the face of the planet. It leaves me feeling uneasy. Everything, as of late, seems to be leaving me unsettled. A foreboding feeling, a storm brewing without a radar, no idea of when it will hit or the destruction that will be left behind. The twins sit across from me, their faces grim as they tell me of yet another shipment that never arrived. $1 million in Pixie just disappearing into thin air. Rage curls through me as I sit behind the desk, feeling as though I'm staring at a giant puzzle and missing the centerpiece. And where the fuck is Peter? I look at the twins, blowing out a deep breath as I try to contain my growing ire. I need you to make the rounds today. You will go to every single street corner and collect every single person who's ever touched our product, and you will strip them down and search them. If you see a tattoo of a crocodile, a watch, or any variation of the two, you will bring them here and you will chain them up in the basement. Is that understood? You got it, Hook. Good. I crack my neck. Will you please send Starkey in on your way out? They leave and my stomach twists at the reminder of the tattoo, as if it were plucked directly from my nightmares and drawn into my skin with ink. But that's impossible. Starkey opens the door, his eyes wide and cautious. Sir? My jaw clenches as I stand up, buttoning the front of my suit and walking around the desk toward him. It's silent for long moments until I finally speak. Remind me again, Starkey, why it is you interfered the other night. It was an accident, Hook. I didn't mean to. He looks down. I'm willing to take whatever punishment you think is fit. The corner of my mouth curls up, although inside my stomach is rolling. And what if I see fit to end your life? After all, the punishment should match the crime, don't you agree? He swallows, his fingers twitching at his side. My eyes track the movement. It was an accident, he repeats. I nod, stepping toward him. I don't pay you to have accidents. My nostrils flare, fingers twitching to grip my blade and sink it into his skin. But it wouldn't look good for morale if I killed him now. Up until this point, Starkey has never been a bother, and between Rue's death and the whispers on the street, the last thing I need is for my inner circle to feel as if they aren't safe in my presence. You've always been extremely loyal, Starkey. One of the best. One that, up until the other day, I would have trusted with my life. His jaw clenches, and I take out my knife, flipping the blade and using the tip to tilt up his chin. Do not do something so foolish again, or next time I won't be as lenient. He bobs his head, his eyes glancing down at where my fingers press metal to skin. "Thank you," he says, "and I'm sorry, I didn't mean—" I hold up my hand, stepping back. "I want you to find Peter Michaels's assistant, Tina Bell, and I want you to bring her to me. Do you understand?" He swallows and nods. "Go." With every minute that ticks by after Starkey leaves, my body winds itself tighter, my brain feeling as though I'm watching a TV with static. I have to be missing something, but for the life of me I can't figure out what it is. When I finally make it back to the marina, having had a pit stop on the way home, grabbing a bottle of champagne and a bouquet of roses, I'm exhausted. I want nothing more than to lose myself in Wendy's presence. Walking into the kitchen, I set the champagne on ice, the silence in the air making my heart stutter, wondering if maybe she changed her mind and decided to leave me after all. I rub my palm against my chest, not liking the way my pulse is suddenly out of my control. "Romantic." I spin at the voice, Smee waltzing into the room. "Yes, well, I guess you could say I'm turning over a new leaf." I give him a tight smile. His eyes spark as he steps toward me, his head tilting as he takes me in. "You really care for her, don't you?" My chest twinges, but I nod. I'm not one to speak of emotions plainly, but I imagine it's rather obvious the way I feel, especially when we're here in my home. There's no sense in trying to deny it. "She has come to be paramount to my happiness." Smee stops in front of the bouquet, leaning in to smell the roses. "Well," he sighs, straightening, "I've been waiting a long time for you to bring someone here." My brows lift. "Oh?" He grins. "To see you happy, I mean." Unbuttoning my suit jacket, I slip it off, setting it on the back of one of the kitchen bar stools. To be honest, I don't quite know what to do with myself. I run a hand through my hair. We didn't necessarily get off on the best foot. Smee chuckles. "Sometimes, boss man, you just have to be patient and let everything play out." I rub the scruff of my jaw, nodding at his words. "Is she here?" I ask. He angles his head toward the bedroom. "I don't think she's left all day." The urge to see her is too strong to resist, so I rise, pausing before I hit the hallway. "Smee," I say.
"Yes, sir?"
"You're a good man, and I appreciate everything you do. I'm sure I don't tell you enough." He inclines his head, and I make my way to the woman who's become the center of my universe.
All right. And that is chapters 38, 39, and 40. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I know I did. Love you guys all. It's so good to be back in the hot seat, making some content for you guys. I will see you Patreon people on Friday, and then I believe we have a Sunday episode for this week. So I'll see you then. Love you guys all, and peace.